Welcome to the Litigators. We're the UF undergraduate mock trial team. I'm the membership coordinator for the team, and I'm joined by our vice president. And we're going to be telling you guys a little bit more information about our organization.
Okay, so who are the Litigators? We're a team across, all 4 years, making up about 50 to 60 undergraduate students. We're a competitive team. That means, we go across the country, not just within the state of Florida, not just at UF, but to other universities to compete in mock trial tournaments. And as a competitive team, we have a coaching staff, which is made up of UF faculty, professors and staff, law students, both at UF Law and people who help us out from other law schools, and real lawyers that work in the Gainesville or Alachua area. What do? We simulate a real trial experience in a competitive scene against other colleges and universities. So it's made just to simulate a real life trial with a real judge, two sides, a prosecution and defense, and the students play either an attorney, a witness, or both.
Now, why join our organization? For starters, it's a fantastic way to develop your public speaking and logical reasoning skills. You're going to be in a courtroom in front of real judges who are playing as the judge and the jury, who give fantastic feedback about your performance and improving the way that you argue and really improving your public speaking in the sense of making you a more eloquent and articulate speaker. Our club boasts free travel. So those tournaments that Jack mentioned on the first slide, where we travel around the country, are never going to cost you money out of pocket for transportation or for housing. You will be required to pay for food for the weekends. However, you're more than welcome to bring anything from home, anything from like snacks, food, whatever it may be, to compensate that. And additionally, our club boasts no club dues, so you're never going to pay a membership fee in order to be a litigator. If law school is up your alley or you think it might be in your future, the Litigators is a fantastic organization to join. A fun fact that we like to bring up to people is that mock trial involvement is the third leading indicator for a law school acceptance letter behind your LSAT scores and your GPA. So joining our organization not only is going to put you into a group of people who are amazing academically, socially on campus, but it's also going to give you that pre-professional development that we're all looking for and really put your application when you do apply to law school over others who didn't have the same involvement in college. And finally, but most importantly to me, when I was trying out for the team, was finding friends and vibrant community on campus. We truly have an academically diverse team. We're involved in so many different organizations on campus, holding leadership positions on every corner of UF's campus. And it really is a great place for networking, for social interactions, and then also for your pre-professional development. There is absolutely no mock trial experience required to try out for the team. I personally had no mock trial experience before coming to the University of Florida and trying out, and I learned everything that I needed to when I was on the team.
So here are just a few important dates that you may want to put in your calendar or at the very least be aware of coming ahead into the new school year. Our virtual information sessions will be on September 9th and the 10th. They're not mandatory in any way, but it's highly recommended you come. There we give you some more demonstrations of exactly what mock trial looks like. We explain a bit more of the process of being on the team and what that looks like. And from there, you can sign up from tryouts. So it's highly recommended you come to the information sessions. We'll be able to give you a lot more specific information than we may have right now. And you can basically get up to date with all the dates going from there. Tryouts, which are mandatory to join the team, will be hosted from September 16th to the 19th. And we will have an online way for you guys to sign up for that. That's not quite up just yet, so you don't need to worry about that just yet, but that is a date coming up after the info sessions. And then callbacks are looking like they're going to be on September 22nd, although that date's flexible. And of course, if anything on this slide would change, you would be alerted at the information sessions. The decision date for auditions is looking like it's going to be on the later side of September 22nd. And then the next day, we will have our first practice with new members that have been let onto the team. So that will, as a new member, if you get through the tryout process, September 23rd will be your first formal practice. And from there on out, pretty much consistently throughout the school year, with few exceptions, Weekly practices are twice a week, one on Sunday at 6 o'clock and another on Wednesday at 7:30.
And that's our general presentation for you guys. It's a very brief overview for the team. Like Jack mentioned, we do really emphasize you guys showing up to our virtual information sessions, and information to register for those will come out shortly, closer to the school year, and we'll also be tabling on campus if you'd like to see us in the fall. So we're going to open it up to the pre-submitted questions. I'm going to invite Richard as well to join us for answering these. So the most common question that we did receive, which is, of course, we completely understand, is how will mock trial be different this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic? So if Jack and Richard want to go ahead and start with that.
Sure, I can take it. So thank you guys so much for coming. First of all, I'm really glad that you guys are here. But in terms of how the team is going to be dealing with coronavirus, most of the tournaments this year, if not all of them, are going to be done digitally on Zoom. So just like how you're on Zoom now, if you have a webcam and a microphone, then you're good to go to participate this year. You don't have to be coming to Gainesville at all. You are completely welcome to join the team, try out for the team, all virtually from your home. But if you are coming to Gainesville, then we might hold some in-person practices. However, that's only if the university is allowing us to do that, and we would follow all the regulations there. So it's completely flexible and up to you whether you're comfortable coming to campus and participating in a practice, or if you'd prefer to do it from your home or from your dorm or from your apartment. And one more quick thing to mention there is that if you're interested in trying out for the team, but you don't have a quiet space to do your tryout, we will have a private room that we're going to keep sanitized and well kept on campus, so that you can come do your tryout there if you prefer. But you can also do your tryout from wherever you are in Florida or in the country or anywhere in the world, really.
Great. And definitely something that we also want to mention is that we will be looking into having a team that is completely virtual with no in-person practices. So if you are going to be away from Gainesville for the entire semester, there will be a team of people, because there are some of the returning members to our organization that are also not coming back to Gainesville. So we're trying to prioritize your health and your safety and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible with being welcomed onto a team with similar circumstances. So with that said, now we're going to kind of go into talking about tryouts. We got a lot of questions about the tryout process. This question specifically says, what are tryouts like? So Jack, if you'd like to take that one.
Yeah, so obviously my tryout was not virtual, so there's that slight difference, but honestly, the tryouts will be pretty straightforward. At the info sessions, shortly after, we will distribute a tryout packet, which will basically include all of the information and everything that's expected from you at your tryout. But basically, you have the option to try out as either an attorney, a witness, or both. And what you do in your tryout will depend on which one you would like to audition for. But basically, tryouts are pretty quick. If you're trying out for an attorney, they will consist of a speech and typically an examination of some sort, so a line of questioning with one of our returning members as a witness. And if you're trying out for a witness, we look for the other side of that, how you would play a character during an examination.
How long are you given to prepare for the tryouts is another question that we were asked a bunch. So Richard, if you'd like to take that one.
Yeah, sure. So if you attend the info sessions on the 9th and the 10th, then you will be able to kind of make sure that your email is linked. And if not, as long as you filled out the form to get to this Zoom call, then you should be already in our system. But essentially what will happen is on September 11th at 12 p.m., you will get the tryout packet. And the tryout packet is really awesome. It kind of breaks down every single part of the tryout for you, word by word. And that tryout packet is like the beginning of your preparations. So you read through it, you learn about the case, it kind of guides you through preparing all the material for the tryout, and that's on September 11th. And then the tryouts are the 16th through the 19th. So depending on how much time you want to prepare and what your schedule looks like, you can sign up for a tryout anywhere between 5 and 9 days away from the release of the tryout packet. So hopefully that answers the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. The next question that we got was, how do we help new members get accustomed to mock trial? As the membership coordinator, I can tell you that this year we've been working on a completely new program to integrate our new members into our team. This means that there is going to be a handbook that you guys can look through for reference, because mock trial does tend to be a technical sort of event. You've got to learn how to raise an objection. You have to learn where to stand in a courtroom, how to write a direct examination, how to write a cross-examination, how to write your speeches, and so on. Your teams in the fall are going to help you guide you through that process. Experienced members, like in my case last year, I was taught by the returning and experienced members on my team. This year, we're having that same aspect of sort of mentorship and leading that forward with also some physical resources that you guys can use. In addition to that handbook that will be given to you at the first practice, if you make it onto the team, we're also going to have interactive videos that will be posted for our members when they are learning how to do mock trial. Additionally, in the fall, because this is going to be a really crazy semester, completely, we've never had this before, we're going to make sure that we're checking in with our new members as many times as possible to make sure that they are comfortable with the amount of work that they're doing for the team, if they're comfortable in their environment, or if there's anything else that we can help you guys with. It is very likely that you will sit down for a 5-minute discussion with me in your first month of making it onto the team, and just making sure that everything's going okay, making sure that you're getting accustomed or starting to get used to the team in the way that you would in a normal semester. This next question is, how does mock trial prepare you for a career in law? So Richard or Jack, you guys can take that question.
Yeah, I don't have a career in law, so I can't fully explain, but I can say I am in the process of applying to law school right now, and already mock trial has provided an extreme benefit for me, whether it's taking the LSAT, which relies on a lot of the same logical reasoning that is required to make arguments in the courtroom, or even in just writing in your classes, being able to articulate an argument or an idea and actually persuade people of that idea not only helps your ability to do professional things like interviews and stuff like that, presentations much more easily and less in a nervous way, but it also helps you to write better, and it translates to how you do papers and stuff, because if you can articulate an argument verbally, that assists how you can articulate an argument on paper. And so what I've heard from a lot of our alumni that have gone to law school is they've continued to see the same types of benefits well into law school, which requires a lot more writing than you'll ever see in undergraduate. So in that way, I think that mock trial is really beneficial for a career in law, past the obvious getting comfortable in a courtroom setting if being a trial attorney is something you're interested in.
Great answer. Richard, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think that another important aspect of joining the team when it comes to future plans like law school and maybe grad school is just the community on the team is really supportive of providing recommendations for other clubs to join and for opportunities in research. Many of our people on the team do classes together, study together, recommend different things here and there, and even travel to visit law schools together. So another aspect of the team, completely aside from what we do and what we learn, is just the friends that you make and how they can help you find the best opportunities for later in life and for during and after school.
Definitely. Awesome. Thank you, guys. The next question that we have is, are there any mentorship opportunities on the mock trial team? So as I mentioned before, you will get guidance from the older, more experienced members on your team in the fall, but we have a mentor-mentee program. That is something that myself and our social chair, Naomi, will be working on in the fall, where you are matched with a member on the team and you'll have that mentor, and you have a mentor family for the rest of your years on the team. So that's something that we do as well. And that is something that every single new member is going to go through. So you're going to get a mentor when you get on the team, someone to give a familiar face at practice or whatever it may be. My mentor and I are very close, and I really do enjoy the program. So we're definitely going to continue that into this year. So the next question we have is more logistical about tournaments. They're all kind of in the same group, so we'll just answer them all at once. How long do tournaments last? How often are they? What is the time commitment? And how many tournaments do we have in the fall semester? So if you need me to repeat any of those, Richard or Jack, let me know. We can just go through them one by one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the first one. How long do tournaments last? Because that's at least fairly consistent. So tournaments for the most part will be 2 days. There are a few that are more than that at 3, but they're more rare. The most standard tournament setup is it consists of 4 rounds, each round 3 hours, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So you go there and then you drive back on Sunday. So that's the standard tournament setup. It will eat up an entire weekend. So, you know, if you are getting on the team and you get a tournament date that you're assigned to, of course, you clear conflicts beforehand, but, you know, just be aware that tournaments are big events and they do take up an entire weekend. It'll be a bit different because we're not traveling this semester, but the idea remains the same, that you're in round for the majority of the day.
And something to add is that when we say that there are 4 rounds, that means that you're in each individual litigators team. We have 5 to 6 teams depending on the year. You're going to have half of your team split up into a prosecution side and the other half split up into a defense side. And those 2 sides are each going to go twice. So if you're a defense attorney, you're only going to go twice out of the 4 times in the weekend. And most of the time they'll alternate. So you're not going twice on one day. You'll have one on Saturday and you'll have one on Sunday. And then how often are tournaments? Jack, if you want to go ahead and answer that one as well.
Yeah, that's a bit harder to answer. For the most part, you can expect a decently wide spread of maybe 2 to 3 tournaments that you're assigned for the semester. And I don't think we've ever had a scenario where someone went to like 3 tournaments back to back. So you do have time to prepare along with your team and individually. How often tournaments are becomes more apparent in the spring, which is our competitive season. The way it works is in the fall, we have invitationals that, while they are competitive in nature, are really for fun and prestige. Whereas in the spring, we go to regionals and try to actually qualify for a national, a bid to nationals. Then we have more assigned dates. And around then, you can basically expect a tournament a month up until the end, which will probably add up to maybe 2 or 3 in the spring semester, depending on how far you get in the process. But yeah, you can expect a few weeks between your tournaments or even up to a month.
Awesome. And then the last question from that block was, what is the time commitment for being on the litigators team?
I can take this one. So the being on the litigators is certainly a significant time commitment. I think it's important to just upfront talk about the fact that we are a competitive team. We spend a lot of time practicing because our goal is to win. So we do dedicate a lot of time. When you see Wednesday and Sunday practices, those are our full team practices. So you can expect those to last roughly 3 to 4 hours on average. Sometimes they're longer if we're going to a tournament the next weekend. And sometimes they're shorter, especially if we just got back from a tournament. But I would say a safe estimate is like 3 hours roughly for those 2 practices. And then additionally, you have individual work. Let's say you're working on your speech and you want to perfect it, or you might work with a partner. So for example, a witness and attorney might get together and work on writing an examination together. So there, all of that work factored in. And then of course you have your tournaments where you have Friday to Sunday usually. But one thing that's good to note is that we do offer academic excuse letters and academic credit. So not only are you getting a fantastic extracurricular, a great friend group out of it, you're getting class credit, and we have academic excuses so you don't have to worry about missing class. And for the most part, we're pretty flexible so that if you have a major conflict, maybe you have a wedding scheduled for October or something to that effect, we'll make sure that you don't get put on a team that's going to the tournament then. So we're pretty good with conflicts in that sense, especially in the fall semester. So hopefully that goes into a little bit of detail. But if you have more questions about the time commitment and what the work is like, definitely send those to us.
Yes, and I can say I had Friday classes in the fall, and every single time that there was a tournament conflict, I was given a letter at the beginning of the season to say, hi, I need this date off, or can I come to a different class? So we definitely work with you, and then also work with your professors to make sure that you're still getting your work done, because of course, like, your academics come first. So with that said, that is the majority of the pre-submitted questions. We're now going to go into what has been submitted to Nathan. If you have any additional questions to submit to him, you can go to the participants and find the submit questions here. He is sending all of those to us in live time. So we got a very brief question. Are you accepting new students? Yes, we're looking to accept a class of, I believe, 15 to 20 students. You do not need to attend both virtual information sessions. You are not required to attend any information session. However, we highly recommend you join one. If you join two, you'll just be getting the same information over and over again. If you'd like to do that, by all means, spend your night twice with us. We would love it. But we really only highly recommend one. How long are the practice sessions? Richard just briefly went over that. Like your Wednesday and your Sunday practices are normally 3 to 4 hours. Our Sunday practices start at 6 p.m. and our Wednesday practices start at 7:30. We got a question from UF Pad. Are we still using the case Padlen versus Teaberry? No. So I think this is a really fantastic question to sort of expand into the different mock trial organizations on campus. We are the competitive undergraduate team, meaning that we're going to be the ones to travel to these different tournaments. Like I said before, we do travel nationally. Our nationals for this past year were supposed to be at the University of Chicago. Unfortunately, because of COVID, they were canceled. And in the years past, we've gone to the University of California, Los Angeles, for example, and a bunch of different places around the nation. With this said, we also compete under the American Mock Trial Association, because I'm assuming this person who asked this question has a familiarity with mock trial. This is the national organization for mock trial. There is a new case set out every year. Last year, it was a criminal case. This year, it's going to be a civil case, and the case has not been announced yet. So we're not going to be recycling cases from the other organizations on campus, but rather getting it from the national organization that sanctions our performance.
Just briefly, I think that one important difference is that our team, I suppose like the purpose of the team is to go out and compete in mock trial, whereas with PAD and with PLHS, those are pre-legal organizations. So their priority is to, bring in speakers and find opportunities for you. Like, let's say you're looking for an internship or a job, and they compete in mock trial as like an additional opportunity there. So whereas our priority is competition, their priority is like looking for opportunities. So you can do both organizations. In fact, we have quite a few members who join our team to compete in mock trial and then join PLHS or PAD to interact with other pre-legal students. And I think I should also mention there just real briefly that we're not limited to pre-law students. We have a lot of students who are studying biology, the sciences. We have pre-med students and engineering students. So that's another important difference between our organizations, is that because we are strictly focused on competitions, we have a lot of opportunities for non-pre-law students to also join. So you get a very varied experience with meeting new people in different organizations, different parts of the university, different colleges, things like that.
So what is our absence policy for practices?
We work with you on that. If you have like a major conflict with one of the practice dates, those are preset. They're the same every year. So we can work with you on that. But for general missing practice, like say something comes up last minute or something unexpected, really the general policy is, try to let us know. You'll have captains on the team that are in charge of your specific team. And then, of course, you'll have team leadership like me, Sophia, and Richard. And generally, depending on what team you're on, you're going to have a few people to contact if you can't come to practice, because, all we want to stress is that your presence at practice very much is a cooperative thing. And so when you miss one, it's likely that the other members of your team are missing out on something too, whether it's reviewing your material or having your input on something. But yeah, we're flexible. Generally, the guiding principle there is let us know before something like that happens, or if it does come up last minute, please keep us in the loop.
Our next question is, can I join throughout the year, or is there a deadline? I can very quickly answer this. Our tryout process in the fall is the only process that we have for the year. So if you decide not to try out for the team, but you want to try out in a different semester, you'll have to wait till fall of next year. So our teams are admitted for the entire year because we have the learning season in the fall where we mentioned we do invitationals. They're more for fun. And then in the spring semester, we have our competition season. So we don't want to bring on people who are completely new to mock trial when we're trying to qualify for these big national tournaments. Let's see here. We've got a lot of questions coming in. Thank you guys so much for being so invested. What percentage of people make the team is another question that we have. Like we said before, we're looking to accept a class of 15 to 20 students. So it'll depend on the amount of students who actually come through and try out. And then we would be able to give you those statistics afterwards, but it really does vary by the year. Okay, this next question, with 50 to 60 undergraduates on the team, how much are members typically able to contribute? Does every member participate in every practice and competition, or is there a process to determine which members are more active than others?
Generally, yes, every member participates in every practice, the extent of which will depend on your own team's workload. So you guys kind of navigate that. If it's a day you're reviewing, witness or direct examinations, and obviously the people with those assignments are going to be a bit more involved in that day. But again, it is a cooperative effort. Everyone has input and, reviews within teams. In terms of which members are more active, generally, for the most part, as a baseline for competition, everyone will be assigned roughly the same amount of tournaments. It may vary, but roughly the same. And there will be, you don't go to every tournament. For example, Sophia can be assigned a tournament on October 15th, and I can be assigned the tournament the weekend after, where she is not assigned to that one. And that would be for our respective teams. Again, we have about 5 or 6, depending on the season, made up of about 10 people. But in terms of whether or not you're more active, the thing I say about our organization is you get what you put into it. If you would like to become a more active member, maybe you want to be both a witness and an attorney, that's a workload that you can accept for yourself. It's also something you can indicate that you would not like to do. I would just, like to have a smaller workload. So again, we work with you on that. That comes more into play when we're working on team placements for the semester. But for the most part, as for competition as a baseline, everyone more or less generally has the same amount of work that they put in.
Yeah, and I can say last year on the team, I believe that almost every single person, with the exception of like a personal conflict, went to the same amount of tournaments in the fall. And then for the spring, it depends on how far your personal team makes it, how many tournaments you're going to be competing in that. And something also to add to Jack's point about you get out of it what you put into it. If you are looking to be more active in the leadership of the organization, this is another question we got, whether or not freshmen can apply for the executive board. So our executive board for the 2020-2021 year has already been decided. This is who we are. However, I was a freshman last year, and at the end of our season for this past year in 2021, in May, I believe, maybe it was April. Honestly, time does not exist anymore. Whatever month it was, we had elections, and whether you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, as long as you're going to be returning onto the team next year, like you're not graduating, because we are an undergraduate organization, you are welcome to apply for any position on our executive board. Although we do recommend that if you are applying for president or vice president, you have more than just your freshman year of experience. And then additionally, there are captains for every team if you want to take more of a leadership role, something looking forward into your 4 years on the team, something down the line. So there are definitely ways to get involved in the leadership of the organization, even as a freshman. So I'm incoming as a sophomore, and I'm the membership coordinator. So it's something to keep in mind. This also leads into the next question, which I'll answer briefly, which is when you get accepted, do you apply every year, or are you set for 4 years? You are set for 4 years. So you don't have to reapply every year. Basically, if you make it onto the team, as long as you decide to stay on the team, you are a litigator. So will online tournaments be competed from your apartment, or will we be meeting with our team to do the Zoom competition together? So if Jack or Richard, if you guys want to take this.
We're actually waiting on a response from the national organization to know exactly what the answer will be. So we'll have an answer for you on the information sessions in September 9th and 10th. So until then, my guess is that it's going to be everybody can log in from wherever they are on their computer and participate. So that way we can accommodate people who are not coming to campus for the fall. but we'll have a concrete answer for you in the information sessions.
Another question that we got is, if you don't make it on the team this year, can you try again next year? The answer is yes. You can try out as many times as you'd like for the team. Additionally, during tryouts, does each member have a private tryout, or is the whole executive board present?
Generally, the people that will be, present at your tryout, or I guess on the other side of the computer, is not the entire executive board, but rather a group of the leadership within the executive board that is available that day. But at the very least, for sure, it will have our coach, me, and Richard as a baseline.
And we've got a few more questions about tryouts coming in currently. If you try out as an attorney, would you be only accepted as an attorney, or is it possible that based on the tryout, you would decide that a person might be better suited for a witness position? Is one question.
Yeah, that's totally possible. And also, to kind of fold another question I'm seeing that came up on there, just because you try out as an attorney does not in any way bind you to be an attorney. I tried out to be an attorney, and I have been a witness several times. So there is that flexibility. I wouldn't say it happens frequently where from an attorney tryout, it's easy to determine if someone's a witness, but if that is a feeling we get that it would be something you're better suited for, or maybe we want to see how you would perform in that capacity, it's definitely a possibility.
Another person asked, if you try out for both positions, is it an all or nothing type of thing, or could you be accepted for one but not the other?
Yeah, one thing I think will be helpful to clarify right now, again, it's not your defining role on the team, and actually it gets changed on, or it can be subject to change on a semesterly basis. So we do scrimmages at the start of every semester, and from those scrimmages, we determine team placements, which will also include your role. So for example, I was an attorney my freshman year, and then my second year, they wanted to see how, I would be as a witness, and I was a witness then. And from then on out, I've been an attorney because I was an alpha witness. But so that type of variation is very possible, and it's not an all or nothing deal. If you try out as both, and we were like, wow, they killed it as an attorney, witness needs some work, you can be accepted as an attorney, and then while you're on the team, we can work with you on witnessing skills if that's something you also would like to participate in.
Do we compete with the same team the entire year, or do teams change per semester? And no, your team is going to change from your fall to your spring team. So expect that you might have some people who are on your fall team, on your spring team. I had one girl who I absolutely loved, who was on my fall team, who also came onto my spring team. But a lot of times we're going to definitely change it up. So you're meeting new people in the organization. What do you look for in new members? We'll leave off on this note because I think it's a very important piece of information. So Jack or Richard, if you guys want to take that.
Yeah, again, we're not necessarily looking to see that mock trial. Like we said, no mock trial experience required. I certainly had none. What we're really looking for is a dedication, a willingness to be, involved and dedicated to the organization, work ethic, and your ability to be coached, right? Your ability to grow. Does this person look like they would be able to grow in our organization, grow as a competitor, learn the necessary skills? So really, I would sum it just down to dedication and work ethic are the main two things we look for. It's not mock trial knowledge or even being a fantastic orator or speaker, although that helps.
We also have a series going on our Instagram right now called Tryout Tip Tuesdays, which means that we had one go up yesterday. There are a lot of great tips in there. And actually, I believe that was our first tip. We're looking for teachability, we're looking for work ethic, and we're looking for charisma to sort of sum up what Jack was saying. But definitely check out our Instagram at UF Litigators for more information that'll be coming out every week up until the tryouts. So just a little plug for that. But with that said, we're going to conclude the general information session. From now, if you are not interested in speaking to someone from the team, even though I highly recommend it to get to know a name and a face, you are free to leave the call now. That's the end of our general Q&A session. However, if you have personal questions, I would really recommend staying around. Our team is very kind, very open, and we don't bite. And we're going to put you guys into breakout rooms, into small groups with a couple of our returning members. If you have any technical questions or logistical things that you want to continue to ask Richard, Jack, or I, you can feel free to stay in the main room. But if not, we're going to send you guys into the breakout rooms. So get to know some of the Litigators members. They're absolutely fantastic people, and they're so excited to share their experiences on the team with you all. So thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. And of course, if you have any more questions, feel free to send them in the chat here in the main room where we will be. But if not, we're going to now put you into the breakout rooms.